Hey everyone, what's going on? First of all, I got to start off this video by just apologizing for the tardiness of this video. I really don't have any excuses, so I'm not going to make any. By the time Marrone opted out, and the Bills started going through interviews, and I didn't really have time to make a video, just after the new year, so I figured I'd just wait until they actually hired someone before I would make a video, and obviously I didn't plan on it taking 3 to 4 weeks for that, but you know what, things happen. I apologize. I'm glad you guys, a couple people came at me on Twitter and asked me for the video, and don't worry, it's coming, it's here. So I appreciate anyone who remained interested, and I hope you enjoy the duration of this video. But once again, apologize for the tardiness. Back on New Year's Eve, we heard the news that Doug Marrone opted out of his contract with the Bills. Now, that was something that took me by surprise because you heard all the reports coming that even from Schefter and not just local media, like I said, just like from Schefter and what have you, that he had this opt-out clause and that he might exercise it. And it was just something that I thought was just a non-story. I'm thinking, he's not going to do that. It was so surprising to me. And then the day after the season, or 2 days after the season, he sits up there with Doug Whaley, talks about the rest of the season. You hear that Kyle Orton retires, and you can see that he has some body language that they're sad about Orton, or he's upset that Orton's not going to be there. And I'm sure the quarterback situation had something to do with him quitting, which he did freaking do. He quit. I'll talk about that in a second. So, again, I'm thinking that this is a non-story. It's just not going to be an issue. Why would he opt out of this contract? Why do second-year head coaches who go 9-7 opt out of their contract with the Bills? How does that happen 2 times in 10 years? The only 2 coaches to have plus 500 records with the Bills since Wade Phillips, since whatever. Opt out. Unreal. It's unbelievable. And now this playoff thing reaches 15 seasons. And now we got to start over with a new coach. So New Year's Eve, you're kind of thinking, what the heck is going on over at One Bills Drive? You don't really know who to blame. Is Whaley to blame? Is it Pagula? We were still feeling good about Pagula, right? And the direction that this franchise is headed, he saved us. We're staying here. And I think that most fans tended to side with Pagula and Whaley, myself included. Marrone, although I admit that I liked Doug Marrone. I didn't appreciate his 4th down calls and some things like that. But you know what? I liked him. I thought the players did pretty well with him. He brought in Jim Schwartz. The defense was unstoppable. For, even the past 2 seasons, I thought Doug Marrone had the Bills headed in the right direction. And then, like I said earlier, the Orton retired, and I don't know if Marrone wanted to sit through Manuel again. We don't have a first-round pick coming up this year, and, the report came out that he was unhappy with the Watkins trade, and he just sort of sounds like a big baby. You see him in interviews with the media, and he got real tiresome with the media real early on. Really early on in his Bills career, I don't mean this season, I'm talking about even 2013, when I believe it was Mario who had a foot injury going into training camp, and he got real short with the media because he didn't really have any answers for them regarding Mario's foot injury. And that was kind of like, he's the head coach. He should know that this is going to happen. But I don't know, I didn't really chalk it up to be a big deal or anything. And, fast forward a couple years later, and he really has, kind of a brash relationship with the media. You read their tweets and their responses. They're happy he's gone. And I think from a fan's perspective, we shouldn't be too upset that he's gone either, because I don't feel like we're necessarily starting over because we hired Rex Ryan. Before I get into Rex Ryan, I just want to allude to the conversation Doug Marrone recently just had where he said he did not quit on the Bills, which is a joke. Yes, you did. You sat there, we saw some of the players' tweets. They weren't happy with you, that you sent a text message telling them that you weren't going to be back, that Jonathan Meeks apparently never got it because he tweeted what text to NFL Network. It's just, what the heck is going on over there? You quit, Doug. It's okay. You know, no hard feelings. You're going to get booed if you ever show up here again. But, you did. Doug Marrone did what's best for Doug Marrone. You took $4 million and you quit, which is fine. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. You took $4 million, you left Buffalo and went to Jacksonville, where you're kind of out of the limelight a little bit. And by kind of, I mean you definitely are. Because they have about 12 fans, and, they might be a better team this year. Okay, first of all, I just want to... I don't want any Jacksonville Jaguar fan to see this, and any 12 of them, and to think that I hate the team, because I don't. I like Gus Bradley. I like what they did on defense this year. I like Blake Bortles a lot. I love Marquise Lee and Robinson. I like their team. And they got a bunch of athletes on that team. Whatever. They might be better. But you still only have about 12 fans. And enjoy Doug Marrone. Have fun with him. Because he did not really do much for our offensive line. In fact, he wouldn't play Craig Urbick for half the season because he was our backup center. And meanwhile, Cyril Richardson and Chris Williams are just getting destroyed at left guard. But whatever. He might do fine with your offensive line. I saw some of his quotes that he sort of missed coaching the offensive. Whatever. Not a bad... Good riddance. Addition by subtraction for the Bills. One negative, they lose Jim Schwartz with the hire of Rex Ryan. But, I mean, that's just... You get Rex Ryan, one of the best defensive minds in football. Let's go back to, the Bills are interviewing some of the candidates here. And then you hear Rex Ryan's name pop up. You heard a bunch of names, Terrell Austin. Oh, man, I can't even think of a couple of them right now. Totally blanking on some of the head coaching candidates because when I heard Rex Ryan's name, that's who I wanted. Instantly, that's who I wanted. They've gone through the whole retread thing. They've gone through the whole coordinator thing, the uninspiring coordinator thing. And I know Rex Ryan is technically a retread, but I think he got a bad deal with the Jets. I think John Idzik screwed him by just... And I think most of the Jets fans blame John Idzik more than they do Rex Ryan. Like, Idzik just looked like he wasn't even trying to do his job. At least he made it seem that way. And Rex is certainly a colorful guy. He brings substance to the job. You know that he can knock it out of the park with the media, which is the complete opposite of Doug Marrone. You know he's a player's coach because the players loved him. You've seen the video at the end of 2013 where I believe it was Woody Johnson who went into the Jets locker room, said that Rex Ryan would return for the 2014 season, and all the players were ecstatic for him. You look back at 2013, the Jets were supposed to go 4-12 that year, and they went 8-8. And they went 4-12 this year, but they had nothing. From a talent standpoint, what did they have? They're Geno Smith and Michael Vick. Oh, my God. Your Eric Decker's your best receiver. And your starting corners are like Darren Walls and Antonio Allen. Like, what? Who are these guys? The only good players on your team, really, are like Mangold, Sheldon Richardson, Muhammad Wilkerson, and David Harris. You had Calvin Pryor, rookie, didn't play that well. They had no talent this year. And I blame... Ryan should be held a little bit responsible for that. Don't get me wrong. But for the most part, I blame Idzik. Just providing him with absolutely nothing to go on. Setting him up to fail. Because you look at Ryan and look at his history. Because, I have his numbers right here. These are his defensive coordinator in Baltimore. They finished 5th, 1st, 6th, 2nd as a defensive coordinator in Baltimore. With the Jets as a head coach. 1st, 3rd, 5th, 8th, 11th, and 6th. That's every single year he has been in charge of the defense as a defensive coordinator or head coach in the NFL. They finished in the top 8, except for 1 year. 2013. They finished 11th. The Bills' defense finished 5th last year without him. So how can you hate this hire? I don't understand how, and just stop it with the Jets 2.0 thing. He's walking into the same situation. No quarterback. E.J. Manuel. Shut up! We are not the Jets 2.0. The Jets had one player with more than 40 receptions last year on offense. That was Eric Decker. The Bills had 5. The Bills had 3 players with 10-plus sacks. The Jets had 0. This is we are not the Jets 2.0. The Jets, starting corners, like I said, Darren Walls and Antonio Allen. Stephon Gilmore, McKelvin, Corey Graham. Come on! The only place we're comparable is on defensive line. The only place. And we have a good center. Stop. Stop with the Jets thing. That drives me absolutely up the wall if you haven't noticed. This is a good hire for the Bills, guys. It's different. They spent a ton of money on a coach for the first time ever. They got the guy that people were sort of seeking out. We knew that Atlanta wanted him, but they didn't. They were kind of waiting on Dan Quinn. They had to, and they did. So the Bills, sort of made a power move there and went after Ryan. They gave him the money. He came. When have the Bills had a coach like Rex Ryan? A coach with some history in the league, some family in the league, a famous father, famous brother. This animated. You've seen on Hard Knocks how, much he gets along with his players, the players coach thing, like I said. When was the last time? We just keep trying these old things that just never work. The Dick Geronts, the Chan Gillies, who are way past their primes as far as coaching careers go. Greg Williams. And just, oh my God. It's unbelievable. Thought we might have had it with Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone doesn't want to be here. That's fine. See you later. Because now we have Rex Ryan. And the whole thing to me hinged on who he brought in as offensive coordinator because I know we're going to be good on defense. I know it. And then he brings in Greg Roman, who rejuvenated Alex Smith's career, did pretty well with Colin Kaepernick for a while, loves the power run game. We have good running backs. We need to make sure that line gets better. They just signed Richie Incognito, or the report is that they're going to sign Richie Incognito. And by the time this video gets up, they probably will have Richie Incognito. So I have a separate opinion on that. I don't care that he was a bully. Rex Ryan, the Bill the bully, we signed the bully, ha 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 ha. That's a funny joke. Everyone made it. Who cares? He picked on a guy. Let me just go back to something. He picked on a guy who went to Stanford. Bad teammate? Yeah, sure. Locker room culture in Miami? Pretty garbage. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. That the locker room culture in Miami is garbage and that it's not as good as the Bills. Because I think the Bills have some of the best in the league. So he might be kind of a jerk. I get that. But he picked on a guy who went to Stanford. What? Martin's a little soft. Whatever. Michael Vick, by comparison, Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson, these guys. Free Ray, meh, and free Vic. And what? These guys are beating their wives, beating their children, murdering dogs for funding it at least. And these guys are getting second chances, and players want them to have second chances. Meanwhile, Richie Incognito, who is a jerk, don't get me wrong, or has been a jerk in the past, probably got his mind in a good place now. Oh, Richie Incognito, that's a horrible signing because he's a bully. The word bully is just such a no word in life today, and that's, who cares? Don't act like we don't need guard help. Getting back to Greg Roman, they need to build up the offensive line. We don't know if CJ Spiller is going to be there because free agency is coming up. Maybe they'll sign somebody like Ingram. Maybe they'll even bring over Frank Gore. I don't know. Maybe they think they have it with Fred Jackson and Bryce Brown and Anthony Dixon. Anthony Dixon's been with Greg Roman before in San Francisco. San Francisco certainly regressed this year, but that may have had something to do with the fact that Jim Harbaugh was pretty much a lame duck coach. It's been reported since the beginning of the season that he wasn't going to be there. So, I mean, is that kind of hindering your job right from the get-go? Maybe. They got to back-to-back NFC championships. Colin Kaepernick almost threw the game-winning touchdown if Richard Sherman doesn't make a great play to get them to the Super Bowl. Again, because they went to the Super Bowl and damn near won it. They scored 31 points. So I'm excited. You can tell I'm excited. I want to hear all of your reactions. Like I said, I apologize for the tardiness. I know this is late, but I still want to hear all of your reactions because I'm interested. And if you have varying opinions, please let me know. You can hit me up on Twitter. My username is the exact same thing as it is. My Twitter handle is the exact same thing as my YouTube username, GTORLONE. Find me on there. We'll talk. We'll talk Bills football, guys. It's an exciting time. Rex Ryan, Greg Roman. Here we go. As always, go Bills.